Hello, YouTube. This is your favorite girl, Kendra D, or I could be your hated girl. That depends on who's listening. Maybe you don't like me at all. Anyway, today I want to just touch on something that sort of came up real briefly on a panel that I was on, speaking to a few ladies, a couple of guys. And we were talking about relationships as usual, and then we were talking about financial dynamics of relationships and things like that. And one thing that was said, sort of, and I'm paraphrasing, we were talking about if the woman makes more money than the man, will she still submit to him? Things of that nature. And one of the statements that was made by one of the young ladies was to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not quoting her, but it was to the effect of, like, is a man going to be intimidated, or like what's going on with him if he doesn't want to accept, or he feels some type of way if his woman or wife or what have you makes a substantial amount of money more than he does. And because it wasn't quite in the flow of the conversation, I didn't veer off to address it, but it just made me think about something. And it sort of made me think of this question. Are men weak for not wanting a power struggle right off the bat? And the young lady didn't say, oh, well, he's weak if he does. She didn't say that, but was the next logical leap in my mind. I find that sometimes women will feel, and it's usually the women who do make a high 5 or 6 figures in their jobs, will feel as though if a man doesn't want to get into a relationship with her after he realizes the difference between her socioeconomic standing and his, if his happens to be lower than hers, he doesn't want to get into a relationship or marriage. And a lot of those women attribute that to the man being insecure in his manhood, or insecure in his ability to lead a house, or his ability to be masculine, or what have you. But that, in my opinion, is not the case at all. It's not that he cares that you make more than him. That it's not the dollar amount that's the problem. The problem is that he knows there's going to be a power struggle, and he exits stage left so he doesn't have to deal with it. And the power struggle is going to take several forms, and one of those forms is that she's going to want to live according to her means, not his. If she has a substantial amount of money and his is much lower than hers, let's say, just throw out, she makes $200,000 a year, he only makes $80,000 a year, okay? Which is not bad, but it's not 200, okay? She's gonna wanna live according to what she can pay for. And there would be very few women who would be willing to forego what she knows she can afford in order to live underneath the means of her husband, if her husband doesn't make as much money as she does. She's not going to want to really do that. She's going to want to live according to her own means, because $200,000 a year money is different than $80,000 a year money. Okay? I can get different stuff. All All right. I can get more stuff, or I can get, more name brand stuff or whatever, more expensive stuff, what have you. And she's going to want to live according to what she can afford. And men know that. He knows that if he doesn't make as much money as she does, and they get into a relationship or they get into a marriage, money is going to be a sticking point of some sort in that relationship. Either she's going to be trying to push him to make more money and he's not going to see a need to do that. Maybe he has already in a line of work that he enjoys and he's not looking to change it just to make six figures because she wants him to. So that could be an argument. Or if she says, well, we can live in this type of home or whatever because this is what I can afford. And he says, well, no, because I can't afford that. I can't afford to pay for that. If something were to happen to your income, how would we pay for that? Because I cannot pay for that. Okay. And I know there are women who would say, well, that's not a problem. Just, you know what I'm saying? If we're living by our means and, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, he should be cool with that. But should he be cool with that? Because money is power. Even in a romantic relationship, money is power. And if she's paying 60-40 or 70-30, okay, of the bills or something like that, she is going to automatically take an authoritative position because, well, you would not be living like this if it weren't for me. You would be still renting an apartment in such and such part of the city if it wasn't for you marrying me and I upgraded us to this over here. So, you pretty much owe what you've got to me. Okay? You owe that to me. And my work and my job and my whatever. Okay? This is what men want to avoid, that power struggle, because there's gonna be one. And it's gonna end the relationship because money is power. He'd rather get into a relationship where the woman makes as much as he does or less than he does, because then she won't be struggling with him about whose means they're gonna live according to. That's first of all. And then second of all, he's just not going to have to deal with her saying, well, I bought this and I paid for that, and what did you bring to the table, and you don't even have any money, and if we were living according to what you made, we wouldn't even be living over here in this part of the city. We'd be living over there in that part of the city, and who wants to live over there? And we wouldn't even have 2 cars. We would be sharing 1 car, or whatever the gripe might be. And women know that they will do this. Too many women have already done it with less. I've heard women tell men to kiss their asses and get out of the house. You no good, ain't shit nigga. And she was broke as a joke, but the house was paid for by Section 8 and the food and stuff was paid for by SNAP and camp and all of that. So the point was, he wasn't paying for it. That was her point. And so whether he leaves or stays, her situation's not going to change because she's not dependent on him to survive. So he can kick rocks the moment that he doesn't do what she wants. And if the woman is paying most or all of the bills in the house, that man is not going to be able to make demands upon her that she feels that she needs to listen to. She may go along for a moment if she loved the guy or something like that. But all it's going to take is for him to make one too many demands that she feels like is out of line. And she gonna get to thinking, well, what do he do that makes him capable of giving me orders? You know, he sure does have a lot of little demands and a lot of little things he wants to go his way for not to be paying for none of this. And whether she says it to him outright or whether her actions speak this, that is what is going through her mind. All right. And it more than likely is going to come out in an argument. The moment that she gets mad, she's going to throw up what she does for him. You wouldn't even be driving that BMW if it wasn't for me. I went to the dealership and got that because your credit wasn't even good enough. That kind of stuff. And men, they don't care about the dollar amount that you make. They care about the attitude that you have as a result of it. And he's just not in the mood to be constantly fighting you about emasculation issues. You throwing things up in his face. You know, you want to go to some type of vacation. He knows he can't really afford it. Not really. And well, we're going anyway. I'll just pay for it. And now here he's got to feel like, you know, he's just along for the ride. And this may not even be some bummy nigga. He probably is. I'm talking about a guy that works every day and makes pretty good money. He just don't make as much as you. You know? This is what they're doing. It's not a weakness of his character and a weakness of his masculinity. He just understands the power dynamic. He understands power dynamics. And he's not willing to get into a situation that is quite obviously a power struggle. It's a red flag full of power struggles. Every conversation is going to be a tug of war. He doesn't want to do that. So it's easier to eliminate at least that part, that potential problem in a relationship. I don't have to wrestle with her about money issues. And we're wrestling about money issues not because we're broke, but because, you know, she's paying for this and that, and she feels like I'm not worthy because she's paying. And he just doesn't want to feel that way. And if you took all of that time in your life to go to school, get into debt, do all of this other stuff to get money, to get a job that makes you six figures, then there's always a trade-off. There's always a sacrifice or something that you gave up to get that. There's no such thing as reaching goals and you didn't give up anything to get it. In this particular case, what you gave up was the eligibility of men. There are not a whole, depending on where you are in the socioeconomic scale, there are not a whole lot of men, available men to choose from up there. Especially if you call yourself just want to deal with black men. And this isn't a rundown on black men, oh, you guys are broke and poor and you ain't shit. It's just that we're a poorer group as compared to other groups and other races in this country. Okay, so while there are black men who are in a higher social economic space, it's not as many of them in that space as there would be their Asian or white counterpart. So if you as a woman climb that ladder and realize that the air is kind of thin up there, then that was the sacrifice that you made. You have to live with it. There are not a lot of available men in certain tax brackets. Okay? And the ones that you do find, he has lots of options. He doesn't have to deal with you. He does not have to deal with you at all. So men are not weak because they don't want to get into a marriage that is unequally yoked at his disadvantage. He's not going to get into that with you because that's going to be a problem. And we know it's going to be a problem. And I wish, and this is just a general statement, I wish women would not sell men that dream that we'll submit to you even if you don't pay. That is a lie. The nature of women does not allow us to do that. You're going to have to exert authority over us, and that makes us submit. We only submit to authorities. In the absence of authorities, we will not submit. We won't. I'm a pretty submissive woman myself. I don't believe in arguing and making power struggles. But if I get with a guy and right off the bat, I'm having to foot all the bills and pay for everything, he's not going to get that submissive woman. He's not going to get her. He's going to get fish grease. He's not going to get Kendra. He's going to get fish grease. And he's not going to like her very much. Because she doesn't do very well with a whole lot of submission, and she talk cash shit. So she's a smart ass fucking mouth, is real sarcastic and shit, and he's gonna get real sick of that really fast. And then I'm not gonna give a shit because you should pay. If you want to be in a relationship with me like this, you're gonna have to pay the cost to be the boss. And once you pay the cost, I will respect you as the boss. I will not go against it. My husband was on disability. I worked. Naturally, I made more money than him, even though I didn't really make that much money. It was a, minimum wage customer service job. I still made more money than him, but he maintained power in the relationship because with his fixed income money, he paid the rent and he paid the bills with it. So it didn't matter that I made more. He paid. And that's the part that can't be forgotten. It really doesn't matter who makes more. It matters who pays. So if you took your time as a woman to get up to six figures and it took you forever to get to that place in your life, and you realize that there aren't a lot of eligible men in your area or in your sphere where you are, okay, you're going to have to find a man that doesn't make that as much money as you do, and then you're actually going to have to be willing to live according to his means and not yours. You can keep your money. You can keep making your money. You can keep your job and everything. And if something happens to his income, then your income will be more than sufficient to keep everything afloat until he gets himself back together again. But see, if the shoe's on the other foot and you all live according to the woman's means and she has much more, something happens to her job, they're going to fall. They're not going to be able to sustain because his money doesn't sustain that. So you're going to end up living according to his means either way. So ladies, we know that money creates power struggles. Money, having it or not having it, creates either a power struggle or a power vacuum. And we understand how we behave when there's no one to exert authority. And we're not simply going to submit to a man that I pay for him, I pay for his whole life, and then I do what he says. Women don't even do that. We don't even do that. That's it. Those are exceptions that prove the rule. When women do that. All right. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. And I will check you guys out later. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm so bad with saying stuff like that. But thanks for checking me out, and I will see you guys. Oh, leave a comment if you want to have like maybe a panel about this, or you want me to do a live that kind of expounds on this. Say so in the comment section. I'll judge by what's said whether or not a follow-up live gets done for this. All right, talk to you guys later.